Hi, welcome to Freely Shine with Dr. Amanda, where every week we discuss a variety of different wellness topics, all geared to helping you unleash your inner shine and helping you grow in body, mind, and spirit. So let's grow together. Today we will be discussing the 7 reasons why sleep should be a top priority for you. Now, before we get into those 7 reasons why sleep should be a top priority, let's talk a little bit about the fundamentals of sleep. When we're talking about your overall sleep hygiene, it's not simply about the quantity of sleep, how many hours of sleep are you getting each night, it's also about the quality of that sleep. Now, most of us are familiar with the fact that there are 3 primary stages of sleep. There's actually more, but we'll keep it in the basics. And they're separated into what we call light stage sleep, deep stage sleep, and rapid eye movement sleep or dream sleep. Now, deep stage sleep, this is going to be really essential for your overall body repair. And then REM or rapid eye movement sleep, this is actually really beneficial for overall mental well-being, and it allows your body to cope with the psychological stressors of the previous day. So when we're looking at our overall sleep hygiene, it's not simply the quantity of that sleep, but also what's the quality of your sleep. Now, most people understand that in terms of the quantity of sleep, on average, we should be sleeping around 7 to 8 hours per night, ideally. The average American typically sleeps around 6.5 hours per night. And that average used to be higher. It used to be around 8 hours per night back in the 1960s, 1950s. So over the last 50 years, as a country, we really have decreased our overall sleep by almost 25%, which is a lot in terms of how it's going to affect our overall health and well-being. And I think this is interesting because I remember in college, one of the things I was watching a motivational video, and one of the things that the guy was saying in the video is like, people want to sleep more than they want to be successful. You're going to need to want to be successful more than you want to sleep. And in my mind, I was thinking like, oh yeah, like, you have to make sacrifices and sleep less, get to the gym early, whatever it is. And now after, doing research and understanding the value of our sleep a little more, it's actually counterproductive. If you're not prioritizing your sleep, it's going to affect your overall health and well-being, and it's really going to affect how successful you're going to be able to do, because it actually affects your ability to process information. So if you don't get good quality sleep the night before, how well you function that day is going to be completely inhibited. So if you want to be successful, if you want to be more efficient, well, you better be prioritizing your sleep. So I think it's funny because, a lot of times we are taught this, sleep is kind of given this innuendo, like if you sleep a lot, you're lazy or whatever. And really, I want you to understand or take away from this video that that is not true. Sleep is extremely important for your overall health and well-being. Now, the first reason why you should prioritize your sleep is because it improves your memory retention. And it is during your deep stage in particular, that is when your lymphatic system is activated, or basically the garbage men in the brain go out and they collect up all the trash and the gunk and the debris that builds up in the brain from the day before. So one of the things that they specifically work on is removing beta amyloid plaques, which, if you don't know, beta amyloid plaques are responsible for Alzheimer's disease. So overall, your sleep is extremely critical in terms of allowing that brain and those garbage men to clean up all that gunk that builds up during the day. So you're going to improve your overall brain function and your memory retention. Now, the second reason you should prioritize your sleep is because it improves your immune function. There was research done that shows that people who sleep on average 5 hours per night are 200 to 300% more likely to catch a cold than people that sleep 8 hours per night. So that simple change in your quantity of sleep can drastically improve or boost your immune function. Third reason why you should prioritize your sleep is because it decreases overall inflammation in the body. As I talked about before with memory retention, it definitely decreases inflammation in the brain using that lymphatic system. However, it also affects the inflammation everywhere in the body as well. So especially during deep sleep, because that's when the height of your growth hormone is released, and growth hormone is really important for repair of tissue damage from the day before or from previous injuries. So especially if you're someone who does any sort of stressful type exercise, weightlifting, it's really important that you get good quality of sleep, because when that release of growth hormone, it decreases the inflammation on the cells from the stress that you had the day before. It increases tissue repair and tissue growth. So if you're trying to gain muscle, that's going to be extremely important as well. Now, reason number 4 why you should prioritize your sleep is because lack of sleep is actually linked to increase in appetite and increase in weight gain, and can actually predispose you to having a higher chance of having type 2 diabetes. Now, they've done studies that show that lack of sleep can cause you to eat on average between 300 to 550 more calories per day. So if your goal is weight loss, then lack of sleep is going to be counterintuitive to reaching that overall goal. The fifth reason why sleep should be a top priority for you is because lack of sleep or overall loss of sleep quality and quantity puts you at a greater risk of heart disease and heart attack. So this is extremely important, especially if you have any sort of family history of heart disease. Obviously, even if you do have a family history of heart disease, there's so much you can do to prevent that from ever manifesting in your body. And one of the best ways you can do that is by making sure you're prioritizing your sleep every single night. Now, the sixth reason why you should prioritize your sleep is because it improves your overall physical and mental performance. It improves your physical performance in terms of affecting your overall strength and energy. So if you're someone who exercises frequently and you want to perform optimally, making sure you're prioritizing your sleep is going to be essential. And also, if you're someone who's engaging in very mentally draining tasks during the day, whether it's for work or hobbies or whatever it may be, having good quality and quantity of sleep is going to improve your overall performance in those tasks. Now, lastly, that seventh reason why sleep should be a top priority for you is because it helps your body better adapt to stress. So all of us deal with stress throughout the day. It's fairly normal, whether it's the stress from work, emotional stress from relationships with loved ones, whatever it may be. If we have stressful situations that come up, our body's ability to adapt to that stress and be more resilient is extremely dependent on how much quality of sleep are we getting per night. So one of the other things I'm going to touch on here, which I think is really fascinating, is the importance of REM sleep for our overall stress management, because I think that REM sleep is still or dream sleep is not really fully understood in science. They still kind of are like, why do we dream? Like, what's the point of it? However, some theories are that our dream sleep is our body and our brain's way of mentally coping with the stress of the previous day. So say we had a lot of emotional stress or physical stress or whatever came up during the previous day, our body is going to react by increasing overall REM sleep so that we can better cope with that stress. So think about REM sleep as if it's almost like a mental therapist. Our body's dream process is how we're coping with the psychological stressors that we've dealt with from the previous day, which I think is really fascinating. And it also then is important that we don't do things that are going to decrease our overall REM sleep. So understanding that if we do have stress that is in our life, if we lead stressful lives, then making sure that we're prioritizing the quality of our sleep is going to be extremely beneficial for how our body copes with that type of stress. Also, if you're someone who deals with a lot of anxiety, depression, then making sure that you're prioritizing your sleep is going to be extremely beneficial, because research shows that there's literally no mental disorder that does not also impact sleep. So the question really is, well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is someone having depression or anxiety because they're not getting good quality sleep, or are they not getting good quality sleep because they have depression and anxiety? So what we're going to talk about in an upcoming video is the best ways to improve your overall quality and quantity of sleep. So look for that video in the future. Now, if you're interested in this topic and learning more about the importance of our sleep and why we sleep, and really getting to the research behind those 7 reasons I talked about, please feel free to check out this awesome book by Dr. Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. It's an amazing read, and I remember when I first read it and started to listen to all the research that he provided on the value of sleep, I was simply blown away. And it's something that even in my doctorate program, my background, we really barely touched on the value of sleep. And I think when it comes to our overall health and well-being, if your doctor is not talking to you about your sleep, then they're going to be missing a whole piece of the picture in terms of your well-being. Before I go, I wanted to thank you. If you've gotten to this point in the video, that's amazing. If you're wondering who this cutie is that keeps coming in and out of my screen, this is Simba. So if you watch any future videos, you will probably see him distracting me to the best of his ability. Overall, I want to thank you for your attention. And if there's any topics that you're particularly interested in hearing more about or learning more about, please feel free to comment below. And also, please subscribe to my channel to keep updated on any future wellness content that I will be posting. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to shine on.